What's good? My name is Tasha.
Thank you so much, Tasha, for being with me today. You know you my girl. But will you please be so kind and just share your story in being raised with a mother who had mental health challenges and substance abuse issues at the same time?
I don't really have a story because growing up, she was not present, so I didn't have less love or less anything because my grandmother, she did raise us, so the issues became when I got older, like freshman in college. When she did come back around, it would be in and out. When someone's not around, it doesn't really bother you. And little kids don't know that they're not loved or, the bad part of the situation when you have a grandparent that steps in and shows you the love that you need. When she came back and was back and forth, in and out, it just kind of made it hard because, sometimes she would be there, sometimes she would be gone. When she did come home, she would leave with some of our stuff. Moving every year because she would steal from my grandmother. So I guess that would be the hard part, once I became a young adult.
At what age did you realize that something was, maybe I'll use the word different?
Maybe 14, high school, when I got to high school.
So what was your impact, as a 14-year-old child? Was there something that were you okay with the situation, or did you have resentment? Was there bitterness? How did that make you feel?
Bitter, because it was it was a why. She's the only one in the family like that, so it's just why I got to be my mom.
Yeah. And so did it only impact you, or did you have other siblings that were impacted by this as well?
So I have an older brother.
Okay.
So yes, it impacted us both, but it's we have a strong bond. So it was me and him. So still me and him all the time.
Shout out to the brother. Okay. So as an adult, going through that experience as a child, is there any impact? Do you see that presented in your life as an adult?
I have a daughter, so it makes me want to be different. The stuff that I did not get from her, I try to make sure I incorporate with mine, as far as, doing stuff with her and how I raise her. And I guess in our generation, we weren't taught certain things in black households that, probably should have been talked about, such as credit and stuff like that. So I wasn't taught that, so I didn't know that until I was an adult. So I try to instill that stuff in her now. Just the lack of information that I got as a child, I try to instill in her.
Yeah, which makes sense. So that whole, I'm trying to do something different.
Yes.
Than what my mother or father did with me. I'm going to do something different in raising my child. Are you getting the outcome, the result from that relationship based off of your different perspective or your desire to do something different?
I believe so, because me and my daughter have a wonderful relationship.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. Shout out to your daughter. Yes. So anybody who's experiencing or has experienced this as a situation, they feel a feeling of loss or hope, resentment, bitterness, what would be your words to them?
Talk about it. You have to forgive. So until you forgive, it's hard to move on because you'll keep going back to the same thing, what they did in the past. But if you don't forgive, you cannot move on.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's definitely a good word of advice. How is your relationship with your mother now? What does that look like?
Oh, it's much better. She does live with me currently.
Okay.
It took a lot. Again, we talked about forgiving. I did have to forgive her, but, a lot of times I have to quit holding on to what she did in the past, not be so angry when stuff doesn't go my way or, just keep encouraging her as well, because just like with me, it's a process. And I know she has a past and, she doesn't want to keep going over or being blamed for what she did in the past. What happened. And there's nothing we could change about it. But I can say it may have made me a different person. So I guess I'm glad to say I went through what I went through because it made me who I am today.
How so? What do you think specifically? How are you different?
I'm nothing. I won't say nothing like her, but I didn't follow the same path. It could have went wrong. I could have been the person that kept blaming her, and then eventually follow the same lead. So, I wanted better, so I did better.
Good. How did you get to a place where you're with your grandmother, you're not being raised in the same house with your mother, to now your mother, the roles have essentially seemed to have reversed. Now you're providing a shelter for her and a safe place for her and making sure she's taken care of. How did you get to that place?
Well, I've always been taught, treat people how you want to be treated. Just because she treated me a certain type of way, I have to understand, drugs is it's a sickness. So, it just took over her. So I can't blame her for what happened. So I have to, move forward and make the best of the situation.
Have you had an opportunity to have a raw, authentic, transparent conversation with your mother?
I did, but again, speaking to someone who has mental illness and doesn't take accountability for everything, you have to learn to, just let people live in their truth. She feels how she feels, I feel how I feel, and, you have to come to a happy medium and keep it moving, because if you keep going back and forth, you're just going to hurt yourself.
What is the relationship like? I mean, does she treat you differently than she's treated your brother, than she's treated your daughter, or is it consistent across the board for everybody?
In my opinion, she definitely treats my brother better. I don't know. I guess this is something with moms and their boys. I could say we're alike in some ways. We bump heads a lot, so everybody wants to be the boss. Because she's my mom, she feels like she can be the boss or tell me what to do, and I feel like if it's my house, it's my rules, my way. So
it's extremely difficult to heal from somebody who you're that closely connected to, who you're connected to, period. But I am so proud of you. So thank you so much for taking the time to share your story. I'm big on affirmations, so will you please be kind enough to share your affirmations for yourself?
I am unique. I am loved. I am different. I'm sunshine, and I am blessed.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being a guest on my show today. Until next time, please have an amazing day intentionally. I love you. Let's get it. Let's grow.